Yeah, Weege show here, brought to you by the Honda CRF250R, CRF450R. There's the pits at Rice-Eccles Stadium. There's the beautiful snow-capped mountain ranges. They tell me that it actually snowed here like 3 days ago. We've got almost perfect weather, like a little chilly, but honestly, if you come to the mountains, this time of year, it's May, it's getting warm in a lot of areas of the country. As RJ Hampshire said, it was 200 degrees this week in Florida. I think everyone will take this. I'm going to give you some takes from today's pre-race press conference hosted by myself and Jason Thomas. Hayden Deegan said what everybody wanted to hear him say, which is, hey, you guys know my style, I'm gonna give it everything I had. Jason Thomas had queued him up to basically ask, are you gonna do something crazy to try to win this title? And Deegan didn't say he wouldn't. He just said, you guys know my style, I'm gonna give it everything we had. I'm on the record with the Weege show that I put up yesterday saying, I really think the chances of all three championships here being procedural and nothing weird or crazy happening are very remote. In the 450 class, it's obviously a very, very long shot that anything could happen. But in the 250 class, I don't think it's just gonna be Kitchen or RJ get the start on each other and they just follow the entire time and nothing happens. And in the 250s, the idea that there'd be no drama, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's remote. I think we're gonna get something crazy at some point, somehow, in at least one of these three championships. Riders are about to go on the track here for press day. That's Max Anstey's bike that you just heard. Cooper Webb's situation is tough. I put a post up on social media about the injury situation and why riders cover that up. Hey, beautiful Utah. At noon Mountain Time, we will host a live press conference. You can watch Monster Energy Supercross finale from Salt Lake City. We'll have Cooper Webb as part of it, and I'm sure someone's gonna ask Cooper, why did you not reveal this thumb injury until recently? I know that frustrates people a lot, but to me, it makes all the sense in the world. I will explain it in a moment, but first I wanna say, every time a rider hides an injury, we hear in all the other sports, they're required to be transparent about injuries. That's not true. In the NFL, it is part of their collective bargaining agreement, the players' union, where I believe they have to reveal injuries. Most people think that's actually for gambling purposes, but they couldn't say that because gambling wasn't really legal up until recently, but they still had to reveal the injuries. Anyway, it's not even required in other leagues. The only reason they ever do reveal injuries in the other leagues is because if someone can't play, you can open up another roster spot. So you're gonna reveal it in that case. But if the player is 70 or 80% and he still wants to give it a go, they give it a go. And they very rarely talk about how bad the situation is. My favorite NBA basketball team, the New York Knicks, are actually good this year. And their best player, Jalen Brunson, hurt his foot in the game the other day. And he will not talk about what it is. He just said discomfort. He was out, he magically came back in, he played well again. He's listed as questionable tonight. They're hiding as much as they possibly can. And that's gonna happen for a couple of reasons. In those sports, you don't want the other team to be able to plan around the injury. Is he gonna be able to play? We don't know what we're supposed to defend here. And it is possible, I think, in stick and ball sports for someone to actually target an injury and try to hurt the guy more. That's not the case here. So why do these athletes cover it up? Two things. A, just like the other sports, these athletes, I think a lot of times they don't want to think about it themselves. They don't even want to know how bad it is themselves. They'd rather tape it up and hope that maybe it's not as bad as it feels. And the more you think about it, the more doctor's reports or x-rays or MRIs you get, the more it drives into your head, dude, I might be screwed. Beyond that, the other reason, once you know how bad it is, you don't want the competition to know. And that is the main point of my speech here. Think about the scenario of Webb versus Jett tied with 4 rounds to go. You want to try to put as much pressure on the other guy as you can. What strategy would you rather employ if you're Cooper Webb? I've won 2 titles, I'm crafty, I have the racecraft, the mind games, who knows what I'm gonna pull out, this is the situation that where I ride best. Do you want that kind of pressure on a guy? Or do you want, oh, well, Cooper's only at 80%, should be easy. For Jett Lawrence, who's probably not really affected too much by pressure anyway, but still, if you're Jett Lawrence, you don't want to give the chance for him to say, whew, don't have to deal with the really good Cooper Webb, he's only at 80%. So that's why they don't talk about it. It makes complete sense to me, and I know we get mad about it, but that's why they do it. At this point, it's so far gone, Cooper might as well say it, because he went out, you know, the next time it's close, he doesn't want people to point to, he just got a 4th and a 5th down the stretch, and he really didn't perform at his normal level once the points were tied. So at this point, you might as well reveal it. But for a couple weeks, it was worth putting that extra pressure on and making Jett Lawrence think, oh, dude, this is where Cooper's really good, and I'm worried about the guy. That's why they don't reveal it. So yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. We got a photo shoot here. It's a team shoot?
Team gathering.
Team gathering.
Close we can get.
Oh, okay. That day will come. That day will come. It's quite the scene here. So I guess that's the 450 holding pen as we get ready for the 250s to go back out and ride some more. Look at these hole shot devices. These hole shot devices have gotten ridiculous. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was talking about Josh Hansen's here.
What's up?
What's up? You gonna race real quick?
Yeah, I'm racing.
You gonna fast 40?
I'm saving it until tomorrow.
That dude, he's fresh.
I have Epstein bar, so I skipped out.
Oh, okay. Don't let the heart rate get up too high. This could probably still be in the top 40 right there, qualifying. What's up, Grant?
Yeah, buddy.
This is an interesting look. We got the retro 92 numbers there for the number 9. That's cool. I'm gonna ask what the flash heads are. I'm assuming that's every. Classic Barsha. All right, let's find someplace quieter so we can chat. You ever wonder what the tunnel looks like from underneath? Hi, Will Christian doing her notes. I'm gonna go on this side a little bit safer. Thank you. What's up, Frankie? Ah, that's quieter. So Cooper Webb's saying the right things. He didn't ride this week. Thumb might be better. Like I was saying, you've got to at least make the guy worry a little bit about you. But now he has said he is going to have to get surgery. Eli Tomac, like I said in the Weege show yesterday, he needs surgery in his thumb. They're out for the foreseeable future. I do think, though, this SMX thing, it's really going to put it to the test. That was the hope with SMX, that you would have guys that were done and they come back. Jason Anderson, I don't know if he would have come back and raced the back half of motocross last year. Barsha, same thing. If there wasn't the SMX pot of gold at the end, same thing. I think you'll see Webb and Tomac back at some point in a normal year. That wouldn't happen. So that's interesting. And then I asked Webb, look, in our RacerX preview shows right here on this RacerX YouTube channel, I did not put Webb in episode 1. We had Sexton, Tomac, and Jett in episode 1. And really that was just based on the evidence we had at the time, which was Webb switched to Yamaha for SMX, not good. Paris Supercross, not good. And I'm not gonna hand out participation trophies and put 20 riders in one show. So we've joked about that all year, Webb and I and all the other guys ribbing, you know. When he was fast qualifier in Foxborough, I literally sent him a text that said, Operation getting into show 1 next year continues, and he sent the thumbs up. or liked it. Thumbs are a sensitive topic right now. So I asked him this. He really established, again, that we should never, ever, ever, ever think that Webb isn't a contender. Or in his mind, as he put it today in the press conference, he reestablished himself. Even though really we should never doubt Webb. He's kind of become the Chad Reed of this era. Even in his bad years, he's still in title contention. And even when he doesn't get it, it's still close. It's kind of the way Chad was. You all of a sudden back out and look at like an 8-year run, and you're like, there's not a single year where Chad wasn't somewhat in the math to potentially win the title, even in the years where maybe he wasn't as happy with the bike or things like that. So that's what Webb has become now. He's just always going to be in the Supercross Championship. We should always assume he's going to be. We should always assume he's going to be in the Supercross Championship. So the point is, I said to Webb, can you take 4 wins, being back in the hunt, second in the championship? Can you at least say, hey, the goal is to win, but it was still a good year? And he said, yes, absolutely. And he said reestablish himself, so that's cool. Anything else? There was some background about Webb and Jett having ridden together a couple years ago when Webb left the Baker's factory. He worked with Michael Byrne at what is now the Lawrence's facility and rode with them then. And Jett said back then Coop used to smoke him. Now Jett was on a 250 at the time, and Jett Lawrence even 2 years ago isn't as good as Jett Lawrence now. He's on this very steep curve. So that was cool to see the respect. They've spoken about this a couple of times that they rode together back then. Briefly, it didn't last even, I don't even think half a Supercross. Oh my gosh, look at this guy.
Yeah, I'm good. Just no
Poor guy. Poor guy. Ken Roxon beat up. A year ago, Roxon tweaked his knee in this main event at Salt Lake City in his truck here. I was a reporter for the TV show, and I ran out and got him to see what happened, and then they wanted me to go back onto the track and get in. I believe there was bonus money on the line between he and Webb for 3rd in the championship. See, Webb got 3rd last year, didn't even finish the season, still got 3rd, always a contender. It's kind of deja vu to see Kenny out here with a knee problem again. No surgery, but just gonna need some time to heal up. Oh, that's sound check there for Hampshire's bike. It's great content here, great content. So as far as the 250s are concerned, like I said, Deegan's gonna try, and it's been so low key and low profile between Hampshire and Kitchen. I gotta get out of sound test zone. But they both said, look, Hampshire's like, you know me, I'll do anything. I'll go crazy just to win a race, let alone a championship. And he said, I would assume Levi would do the same. And Levi said, yes. If I do something dirty to him or he does something dirty to me, we're not gonna think of each other any different at the end of the race. We're not gonna lose respect for each other over that. It's what you'd expect in this situation. It's tied, they've gotta beat each other. And Kitchen was asked, would it mean anything to get that 300th win for Pro Circuit that has been seemingly inevitable for months now? They were winning every race, every weekend for a while. They got the 299. Now it's stalled out in the last month or so. And he said he's not thinking about win. He's just thinking beat RJ no matter what the position is, win this championship. It's going to be interesting. I think something is still going to happen in one of these series. That's our show. It's brought to you by the Honda CRF250R, CRF450R, the bikes that swept it last weekend. Oh, one more scoop. I just saw a Firepower Honda guy. Barsha just waved. This guy right here. This guy right here. Dean Wilson, everybody. So Dean had announced at the beginning of the year that this was going to be his last year of AMA Supercross. They did have Adam Cianciarulo and Phil Nicoletti in the press conference today talking about their Supercross careers coming to an end. Why not Dean? Because it might not be over. Dean's riding really well. He keeps battling 10-11 every weekend. And if there's one lesson, what's up, Cade?
What's up,
Glad to get to watch. If there's one thing I learned this year, this is so wild, but it's gonna blow your mind what I really picked up this season. I watch free practice on the floor every week with Ricky Carmichael, and when you watch free practice on the floor and you see how good these guys are up close and how gnarly the tracks are and how hard they're hitting these obstacles and how technical it is to get the bike in the right place, you see a guy like Dean Wilson, who most people would probably look at a glance and be like, he's struggling, he's hurt, he's not as fast as he used to be when he was healthier. You watch Dean Wilson, he is unreal. He is hauling butt out there. It's incredible how good he is. What's up, Don? That's my takeaway. That group, the McElrath, Cianciarulo's back there. Cianciarulo's gonna retire because he doesn't want to be back there anymore. This is mid-pack guys. Are we videoing video? I like it. Those guys are so good. That's one of my biggest takeaways from the season, how good. Oh, media darlings, Ted Rarick. You're this far away from being able to do this. You can do this right now. Media darling. When you see the 10th-ish place guys from the track and you see how good they are and you realize Dean Wilson would come to your local track and destroy any of y'all, it really gives you a perspective that unfortunately you can't get, I think, from the stands or watching on TV. So to that end, Dean's like, I'm still in the hunt, I'm still riding well. Maybe I'll ride some next year. I think he's got a goal of maybe doing a bunch of internationals. We now hear, it was announced this week, that World Supercross is not done. World Supercross will be back. So I think Dean's like, maybe some of these, some of those, Australia, some international races of other kinds, and just trying to bring in a paycheck because he's still a top 10 guy, which is no joke. So that's one of my biggest takeaways that I learned this year. These guys are all gnarly. The level that Cianciarulo is at now, where he's like, I'm just gonna call it, is still unbelievable. And he's riding with one arm. And Dean Wilson's not gonna hang it up because he realizes that if I'm a 10th place guy against this field, maybe I could still scratch out a few more paychecks. So good for you, Dean, on his CRF 450R. See you tomorrow, everybody. I'll be in the booth with Ricky Carmichael and James Stewart.